Morning light streamed into the Lancaster penthouse dining room. I sat across from Victor Lancaster, my husband Adrian's father. As silverware clinked softly, he leaned back, voice sharp. "You may have married my son, Selena, but you'll never belong. A woman from the gutter, running a second-rate tech startup. You're nothing but street garbage and borrowed silk." The words stung, but I didn't flinch. Adrian froze beside me. Around us, silence grew heavy. I folded my napkin gently. "Thank you for your honesty, Mr. Lancaster. Breakfast tastes better with truth." Victor smirked, satisfied. He thought I'd break. He thought wrong. Beneath the chandeliers and polished silver, I vowed to bring down his empire. Tomorrow, when I cancelled his most prized deal, Victor Lancaster would finally learn. Garbage burns. Adrian chased me into the marble foyer. "Selena, please." I swear I didn't know he'd say that. I forced a smile. "You don't need to apologize for him. He's shown us his truth." From the dining room, Victor barked. "Don't grovel to her, Adrian. She'll drag you down." Adrian flinched. My chest ached, but this wasn't his war. It was mine. Outside, Los Angeles shimmered under the morning sun. My modest electric car sat small beside the Lancasters' luxury fleet. Victor wanted me to feel it. "Promise me," Adrian begged. "Don't let him ruin us." I kissed his forehead. He can't ruin what's real. But as I drove away, skyscrapers rising like steel giants, my vow hardened. Victor thought calling me garbage stripped my power. He didn't realize garbage can choke a kingdom. By the time I reached my downtown loft, my fury had cooled into precision. I called my assistant, Mia. "Cancel all meetings. Draft termination papers for Lancaster's deal with Zenith Capital." "Selena, that's a $2 billion partnership," Mia whispered. "Not anymore." I paced the glass-walled office, city lights twinkling below. Victor had humiliated me in public. I would humiliate him in business. "Want me to leak it to the press?" Mia asked. "Not yet. Let him wake up to the cancellation first. The press gets it by noon." I ended the call, staring at my reflection in the window. For years, Victor dismissed me as Adrian's pretty distraction, never a threat. But tomorrow, the world would see his empire stumble. This wasn't revenge out of spite. This was survival. Adrian showed up at my loft that night, eyes tired, tie loose. "Selena, what are you doing?" "I'm reminding your father that I'm not invisible," I said. "You're burning bridges that can't be rebuilt. He controls everything." I softened, touching his hand. "He doesn't control me." Adrian looked broken, torn between us. "Selena, he'll see this as war." I leaned closer. "Good, let him." For a moment, silence held us. I still loved Adrian, but I wouldn't let his father crush me. "Promise me you won't go too far," he whispered. I kissed him. Too far is the only place men like Victor understand. He left in silence, shoulders heavy. I watched him go, wondering if love could survive war. At 11:59 a.m., Mia hit send. By noon, every financial outlet carried the same headline: Lancaster deal collapses. Selena Ardent Tech walks away. Phones buzzed, reporters scrambled, stock tickers dipped red. Victor's empire shook. Mia grinned. "The vultures are circling." I allowed myself a small smile. "Let them feast." Within minutes, my phone rang. Victor himself. His voice thundered through the speaker. "You ungrateful parasite. Do you know what you've done?" "Yes," I said calmly. "I reminded you that garbage can't be ignored." I hung up before he could reply. For the first time, Victor Lancaster wasn't laughing. Days later, I sat across from executives at Fairmont Systems, Victor's largest rival. "You walked away from Lancaster?" their CEO asked, eyebrows raised. "Yes. I prefer partners who don't insult me at breakfast." The room chuckled. Deals whispered in corners. Opportunities bloomed. As I left the skyscraper, I knew Victor would hear about this meeting within hours. Good. Let paranoia eat him alive. By evening, my phone buzzed with Adrian's message. He's furious. Please stop. I closed my eyes. I didn't want to hurt Adrian. But Victor left me no choice. The war had only begun. Victor didn't stay silent. He used his media contacts to paint me as reckless, unstable, unfit to run a company. Headlines screamed, "Tech darling" or "Train wreck." Investors grew nervous. Calls poured in. Mia panicked. He's trying to bleed us out. I steadied her. Then we bleed him faster. Behind closed doors, I doubled down on strategy, secured smaller investors, courted his enemies, built alliances where he thought I had none. Victor thought his reputation was bulletproof. But reputations crack when the truth leaks. And I had truth. Late one night, Mia dropped a thick folder on my desk. "Selena, you need to see this." Inside were documents, proof of Victor's shell companies, tax fraud, and bribery trails. "Where did you get this?" I asked. Anonymous email. Probably someone inside his circle. I stared at the evidence, my pulse quickening. This was more than humiliation. This was destruction. I closed the folder slowly. If Victor wants war, we'll give him fire. Adrian showed up again, pale and desperate. "Selena, please, don't do this. If you expose him, you'll destroy everything. Our family, me, us." I touched his face, heart aching. "Adrian, your father destroyed us the moment he called me garbage." He shook his head, tears brimming. "I love you. I love you too," I whispered. "But love doesn't excuse cruelty." As he left, I knew I might lose him forever, but I couldn't stop now. At dawn, I sent the file to 3 reporters. By noon, headlines erupted. Lancaster Empire under investigation. Fraud allegations surface. Stock markets panicked. Rivals circled like sharks. Victor's furious call came instantly. "You vile little snake." Correction. I cut him off. "Garbage," and I hung up. Within weeks, Victor's empire unraveled. Investigations froze his accounts. Board members fled. Investors abandoned ship. At the same time, my company surged. Fairmont Systems signed with us. Smaller firms followed. Victor tried to salvage his legacy, but the man who once sneered at my Toyota now faced bankruptcy hearings. For the first time, Los Angeles whispered, not about Victor Lancaster, but about Selena Ardent. Months later, I found myself back at a breakfast table, this time at a 5-star hotel. Victor sat across from me, thinner, his arrogance replaced with exhaustion. "You ruined me," he rasped. I smiled politely. "No, you ruined yourself. I simply stopped cleaning up your mess." Adrian wasn't there. Our marriage hadn't survived the war, but I had. As I sipped my coffee, I realized something. Garbage doesn't just burn. It fertilizes growth. And from ashes, I had built an empire. The man who once called me worthless had learned the most expensive lesson of his life. Los Angeles had moved on from Victor Lancaster. His empire was scattered in courtrooms. His name whispered like a cautionary tale. But mine, Selena Ardent, was on every headline. The woman who broke a billionaire. Some painted me a hero, others a villain, but all of them said one thing: powerful. One evening, as I stepped out of my sleek black car in front of a gala, cameras flashed wildly. Reporters shouted questions. "Selena, did you always plan his downfall? Do you regret destroying the Lancasters?" I smiled but said nothing. Silence was more dangerous than words. Inside the ballroom, I saw Adrian standing alone near the bar. Our eyes met. Pain, love, regret, all tangled together. He raised his glass slightly, a silent toast. For a moment, I felt the old ache, but then I remembered. Victor had tried to bury me. Instead, I'd grown roots deeper than his empire. Power had returned, but this time, it was mine. Months later, my company signed a record-breaking deal with global investors. Overnight, Ardent Technologies became the face of innovation. I stood on the rooftop of my new downtown headquarters, Los Angeles glowing beneath me. Mia joined me, grinning. You know, people are calling you the Queen of Silicon Boulevard. I laughed softly.